Leaked correspondence between Muhyiddin and Hadi shows disagreements over the PN chair position. Meanwhile, the former Director General of the Malaysian Defence Intelligence Organisation has pleaded not guilty to graft charges. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. Leaked correspondence between Muhyiddin Yassin and Abdul Hadi Awang has revealed differing views over a purported consensus to resolve issues arising from Muhyiddin's resignation. Here's more on that.
Leaked letters ahead of a now-cancelled PN Supreme Council meeting have fueled fresh speculation over who will succeed Muhyiddin Yassin as the coalition's next chief. The first letter, allegedly sent by Muhyiddin to presidents of all PN component parties on January 27th, revealed that a meeting had taken place on January 16th involving PAS President Abdul Hadi Awang, PAS Deputy President Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, and Party Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan. According to the letter, the meeting had reached a consensus to resolve issues arising from Muhyiddin's resignation. Muhyiddin said at the meeting, Hadi stressed that PN must remain a coalition capable of attracting support from all segments of Malaysia's multiracial society. He added that with this, senior leaders from Bersatu and PAS had agreed that the coalition should be restructured through the creation of a presidential council led by Bersatu and an executive council led by PAS. The presidential council would make PN's policy decisions, while the executive council administers the coalition in line with the policies set by the council. Under the proposed restructuring, Muhyiddin said the position of PN chairperson would be abolished. However, in a letter responding to Muhyiddin yesterday, Hadi disputed this account, claiming that the proposed resolution cited by Muhyiddin was neither discussed nor agreed upon. Hadi also listed out his party's 14 proposals that also touch on the creation of a new presidential council that acts as a supervisory body, while the existing Supreme Council is transformed into a new executive council. He added that the position of PN chairperson should also remain and not be abolished.
Taqiyuddin Hassan addressed the letter in a press conference today. He also questioned what was the basis for the pre-council meeting scheduled to be held at Muhyiddin's house tonight.
Perikatan National Deputy Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan said that the PN Supreme Council meeting, which had been scheduled to be held tonight, was cancelled in order to contain a storm in a teacup. Speaking at a press conference in Parliament today, he said that Muhyiddin had invited the leaders that were supposed to attend to a separate pre-council meeting at the same time. He also questioned what the meeting was for.
Presiden Bersatu telah menulis surat kepada semua presiden-presiden parti anggota PAS, Gerakan MIPP, ada dalam surat tu address, memanggil ketiga-tiga presiden ini hadir dalam satu mesyuarat yang dipanggil mesyuarat pre-council. Saya duk cari dalam perlembagaan ni tidak ada apa-apa premis yang menunjukkan, tak tahulah atas apa asas. Adakah atas asas Majlis Presiden Perikatan Nasional? Setakat yang saya tahu, tak ada lagi. Tak pernah ditubuhkan, walaupun ada dalam perlembagaan kita, Majlis Presiden sudah ada, tetapi tidak pernah ditubuhkan. Tak tahu siapa dalam itu, dalam sebagai pengurusi ke dan sebagainya. Memang ada fasa 7A ni, Majlis Presiden. Setakat yang kita semua maklum, Majlis Presiden Perikatan Nasional tidak pernah ditubuhkan. Jadi, boleh jadi panggil untuk minum kopi itu, saya tak tahulah.
Taqiyuddin said the alleged consensus to abolish the PN chairperson's post, as claimed by Muhyiddin, could expose the coalition to action by the Registrar of Societies, as the position is currently enshrined in PN's constitution. He added that PAS's position, as outlined in a letter from its president, is for PN's existing structure to be maintained in accordance with the constitution. Any changes to the structure, he said, would be unconstitutional and could invite action from the authorities, particularly the ROS. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
During the press conference, Hamzah Zainuddin was also asked about the letter and the meeting. This was his response.
Saya timbalan Presiden Bersatu Jadi kena tanya pengurusi PN lah. Macam mana bocor, saya tak tahu ada surat tu. Betul ke ada surat tu? Jadi saya tahu. Apa surat yang bocornya, surat apa?
Surat antara Tan Sri Muhyiddin dan Tan Sri Hadi Awang tentang keputusan perjumpaan 16 hari bulan. Selepas tu yang membawa kepada pembatalan mesyuarat Supreme Council malam ni yang diganti kepada Free Council.
Oh gitu. Kita tanya Susah Agung ada? Susah Agung.
Agung tak ada.
Susah Agung ada?
Tak jawatan.
Kita tanya Susah Agung. Oh ya, Susah Agung dah letak jawatan Okey.
Adakah Datuk Seri akan hadir di rumah Tan Sri Muhyiddin untuk
Bukan macam tu. Adakah Datuk Seri dijemput untuk menghadiri mesyuarat ni? Apalah soalannya? Jemput pun tidak nak suruh hadir ni macam mana?
Ex-military spy chief Razali alias pleaded not guilty to graft charges at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today.
Razali alias, the former Director General of the Malaysian Defence Intelligence Organisation, has claimed trials with 3 charges relating to kickbacks for himself and his wife. This was in the form of a bribe for himself and 2 return flight tickets to Europe for his wife. In the first charge, Razali is accused of taking $20,000 from one Sheikh Ahmad Nafiz Sheikh A. Rahman between August and November 2024. The money was an inducement to approve a confirmation letter and service acceptance for the procurement of maintenance and system support services for the Cyber Defense Operations Center. Sheikh Nafiq, also known as Sheikh Nafiq Al-Firdaus, is the Director of Intelligence PC Center Sendirian Berhad. In the second and third charges, Razali is accused of accepting from Sheikh Nafiq without reciprocation 2 return flight tickets for his wife, Azarina Bakia. The flights to Spain and Estonia on November 15, 2024 and April 28, 2025 respectively were valued at 26,800 ringgit and 37,800 ringgit. Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court before Judge Suzana Hussein ordered for a 50,000 ringgit bail for the accused and for him to surrender his passport to the courts. The judge also fixed March 4th for case mention. If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe.
Chagubar and a YouTuber have been ordered to pay 550,000 ringgit to Farhash in damages over defamatory statements made in a podcast published in May.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court has awarded businessman Farhash Wafa Salvador Riza Mubarak 550,000 ringgit in civil damages in his defamation suit against Bersatu leader Badrul Hisham Shaharim, better known as Chagubar, and YouTuber Nur Pais Ismail. Judicial Commissioner Arzia Pandi ruled that the defendants had made defamatory statements about Farhash during a podcast published on Nur Pais's YouTube channel in May last year. In her decision delivered this morning, Arzia noted that Farhash's claims against both defendants went unchallenged as they failed to enter an appearance, resulting in the court proceeding with a hearing without their defense on January 12. She found that the statements made were defamatory and damaging and clearly capable of tarnishing Farhash's reputation. Arzia added that Badrul's participation in the interview demonstrated his intention and awareness that his remarks would be disseminated to tens of thousands of viewers. She said the defendants' statements were found to have tarnished Farhash's reputation by portraying him as corrupt, dishonest, and undeserving of his titles and achievements. These allegations, she said, exposed him to public hatred, ridicule, and contempt within his community and among those who knew him personally. Farhash had filed a suit on May 26 last year in response to the podcast published on May 7th.
Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim addressed heads of departments of enforcement agencies related to financial crimes yesterday. During the event, he said that the government will not compromise on weak governance and enforcement.
Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has stressed that the government can no longer tolerate unaddressed weaknesses in enforcement and governance, warning that such failures threaten the country's integrity and economy. According to Bernama, Anwar said Malaysia must be protected from activities that undermine its institutions and economic foundations, adding that his patience is wearing thin over persistent enforcement gaps. He made the remarks yesterday in an address to heads of enforcement agencies involved in tackling financial crimes at an event organized by the National Anti-Financial Crime Center. Anwar said the government is determined to safeguard a country with strong potential, noting that Malaysians continue to hope for meaningful reform and protection. While Malaysia possesses solid economic fundamentals and human capital, he said ongoing failures to curb encroachment, smuggling, and other illegal activities are holding the country back from realizing its full potential. After 3 years in office, Anwar said he feels that there are gaps that must be improved. He stressed that weaknesses, whether involving intrusion, smuggling, or the toleration of illegal activities, cannot be allowed to persist, especially when enforcement agencies themselves provide space or approval. He added that the government no longer wants to be lulled by reports of success alone, but instead wants firm action on integrity and enforcement problems. Anwar also expressed regrets that enforcement weaknesses continue to occur despite the dedication and commendable service of many officers.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.